Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Life has a rhythm, a flow, a pace of its own. The more you try to force it, the more resistance you create. Ever tried pushing a door that says pull? That's what forcing things in life feels like. You push, you struggle, you get frustrated, and in the end, you realize all you had to do was step back and let it open the right way. Its own rhythm and its own timing. No matter how much we try to control everything, there are some things that simply cannot be rushed. The more we force something, the more resistance we create, and that resistance can often lead to frustration, disappointment, and exhaustion. Think about the times when you tried to rush a process. Maybe you wanted a job so badly that you pressured yourself into making it happen before you were truly ready. Maybe you pushed too hard for a relationship that wasn't meant to be, or forced yourself into situations that didn't feel right. And what happened? It didn't work out the way you expected, did it? That's because life doesn't operate on our personal schedules. It moves in alignment with something greater. Call it nature, destiny, divine timing, or simply the natural order of things. There's a difference between working hard and forcing things. Working hard means putting in effort, being consistent, and staying disciplined. Forcing means trying to control what isn't meant to be controlled. When you force something, you're often acting out of fear. Fear that if you don't make it happen now, it never will. But fear is a liar. It convinces you that waiting is the same as losing, when in reality, patience is one of the greatest strengths you can have. Look at the way nature operates. A tree doesn't grow overnight. A river doesn't carve through rock in a single day. Seasons don't change because we demand them to. Everything in this world follows a process, and when we trust that process, we allow things to unfold naturally. You wouldn't pull on a flower's petals to make it bloom faster. It would only ruin the flower. The same principle applies to life. Some of the greatest achievements in history didn't come from force. They came from alignment. People prepared themselves, they put in the work, and when the right time came, they stepped into their moment. That's how success happens. It's not about forcing doors open. It's about being ready when the doors naturally open for you. That's why it's so important to focus on preparation instead of pressure. Instead of trying to force something that isn't happening, ask yourself, am I truly ready for what I want? If the opportunity arrived today, would you be prepared to handle it? If the answer is no, then your job isn't to force the opportunity. It's to prepare yourself so that when it comes, you can step into it with confidence. Trust the process. Let things flow. Have faith that what is meant for you will not miss you. And in the meantime, do your part. Stay focused, keep working, and allow life to unfold as it's meant to. Because when the time is right, everything will align in ways you never could have imagined, even if we don't always understand it in the moment. There's a natural order to things, a divine timing that is beyond our control. The problem is, we often become impatient. Think about the moments in your life when things didn't go as planned. Maybe you wanted a job, but the offer never came. Maybe you thought you had met the right person, but the relationship fell apart. Maybe you had a dream, but every door seemed to be closed. At the time, it felt like rejection. It felt like life was working against you. But then, something else happened. A better job came along. A better relationship found its way into your life. A better opportunity presented itself. Looking back, you realize that what you thought was a setback was actually a setup for something greater. That's how divine timing works. Just because you can't see the bigger picture doesn't mean it's not there. Sometimes life is protecting you from something you don't even realize. Other times it's preparing you for something you're not quite ready for yet. Either way, the key is to trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. When we try to force things before their time, we end up with struggles that could have been avoided. Imagine trying to harvest fruit before it's ripe. It won't taste right, it won't be ready, it won't give you what you need. But if you wait, if you allow time to do its work, that same fruit will be sweet, nourishing, and exactly as it should be. Life is the same way. When something is meant for you, when the timing is right, you won't have to force it. It will come naturally. That doesn't mean you just sit back and do nothing. It means you prepare while you wait. It means you keep working, keep growing, keep learning, so that when your moment arrives, you're ready to embrace it. Impatience leads to mistakes. Rushing into something you're not prepared for can turn a blessing into a burden. But when you trust the timing of your life, you allow things to come to you in the right way at the right time. So don't stress over what isn't happening yet. Don't waste energy forcing things that aren't ready. Have faith that what is meant for you will come when the time is right. And when it does, you'll understand why you had to wait, because when something is truly meant for you, when it aligns with your purpose, you won't have to chase it. It will meet you exactly where you're supposed to be. Hard work is essential. Success requires effort, dedication, and persistence. But there is a fine line between pushing yourself to grow and forcing something that isn't meant to be. Many people mistake resistance for a challenge they must overcome, when, in reality, it might be life's way of redirecting them towards something better. There is a natural flow to everything we do. When you're in alignment with your path, things may not always be easy, but they will feel right. You will still have to put in effort, but that effort will produce progress. On the other hand, when you're forcing something, you'll notice that no matter how much you push, nothing seems to work. Every step feels like an uphill battle. Every door you knock on stays shut. Every attempt leaves you drained rather than motivated. That's resistance. And resistance is often a sign that you're moving in the wrong direction or that the timing isn't right. This is not to say that you should give up at the first sign of difficulty. Struggles are part of the journey, and challenges are there to make you stronger. But there's a difference between persistence and unnecessary struggle. Persistence means working hard toward a goal that aligns with your skills, purpose, and passion. Unnecessary struggle means forcing something that isn't working simply because you refuse to let go. Think about trying to fit a wrong puzzle piece into a space where it doesn't belong. You can press, twist, and force it, but it won't fit the way it's supposed to. You might even damage the piece in the process. But when you find the right piece, it clicks into place effortlessly. That's how life works. The right things will challenge you, but they won't break you. The wrong things will drain you and leave you frustrated, no matter how hard you try. We hold on to things out of fear. We force relationships that have run their course because we're scared of being alone. We stay in jobs that make us miserable because we fear change. We push for opportunities that aren't coming because we think that if we don't make it happen now, it never will. But when you let go of fear and trust the process, you realize that rejection is often just redirection. Closed doors are sometimes the best blessings because they prevent you from walking into situations that aren't meant for you. So, how do you know when to push forward and when to step back? Pay attention to how it feels. Growth is uncomfortable, but it still feels meaningful. Forcing something that isn't meant for you, however, leaves you drained, frustrated, and defeated. If every step feels like an endless fight with no progress, it might be time to pause and reassess. Hard work is important. Discipline is necessary. But forcing something against its natural course will never lead to fulfillment. Work hard, stay dedicated, but also trust that the right opportunities, people, and paths will come when they are truly meant to. When something is right, it won't have to be forced. It will flow. Life is not about forcing outcomes. It's about preparing yourself so that when the right opportunities arise, you are ready to step into them. Too often, people waste energy chasing things that are not aligned with them, instead of focusing on growth, development, and self-improvement. Instead of pushing against resistance, the key is to align yourself with your purpose and allow things to unfold naturally. Imagine a river flowing toward the ocean. It doesn't fight against the rocks in its path, it moves around them. It doesn't stop because of obstacles, it carves its way through over time. The river's power comes not from force, but from persistence and alignment with its natural path. When you align your efforts with your purpose, life begins to flow in a way that feels less like struggle and more like progress. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to control things that are beyond their control. You can't force someone to love you. You can't make a company hire you if it's not the right fit. You can't rush success by skipping the steps of learning and growth. What you can do is prepare yourself. You can develop your skills. You can build your character. You can stay disciplined in your craft. That way, when the right opportunity presents itself, you don't hesitate. You step into it fully prepared. Think about an athlete training for a championship. They don't wake up one morning and suddenly become great. They train every day. They work on their endurance, their skill, their mindset. They don't know exactly when their biggest moment will come, but when it does, they are ready. Success doesn't come from forcing the game. It comes from being prepared when the game is ready for you. Too many people spend their lives chasing love, chasing money, chasing recognition. But chasing implies that what you want is running away from you. What if instead of chasing, you focused on attracting? What if instead of forcing, you focused on becoming? When you grow into the person you are meant to be, the right opportunities, relationships, and experiences will naturally gravitate toward you. That's why flow is more powerful than force. When you are in flow, you still put in effort, but that effort feels purposeful. You still work hard, but you don't burn yourself out trying to control every little detail. You trust that your preparation will meet the right opportunity at the right time. Instead of trying to force life to fit your expectations, focus on growing, learning, and becoming the best version of yourself. Stop pulling at doors that won't open and start preparing for the doors that will. Because when the time is right and when you are truly ready, everything that is meant for you will come with ease. Not because you forced it, but because you were prepared to receive it. Fear is one of the biggest reasons people try to force things in life. The fear of failure, the fear of missing out, the fear of not being good enough. It all leads to an unhealthy need for control. But the truth is, the more you try to control everything, the more you block yourself from what is truly meant for you. Faith, on the other hand, allows you to trust the process, even when you don't have all the answers. It allows you to believe that what is meant for you will come in its own time, without unnecessary struggle. Many people live their lives trying to force success, relationships, or opportunities because they are afraid that if they don't, they will be left behind. But fear-based decisions rarely lead to happiness. When you make choices out of fear, you cling to things that aren't meant for you. You settle for less and you push too hard in areas where patience would serve you better. Faith is the opposite of fear. It is the belief that everything will work out, even if you can't see the full picture yet. Think about a seed planted in the soil. You don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You trust that with water, sunlight, and time, it will break through the ground and flourish. Your life is the same way. Just because you don't see results right away doesn't mean nothing is happening. Growth is happening beneath the surface, even if you can't see it yet. But if you let fear take over, you'll be tempted to rush the process, pull at the roots, and ultimately disrupt something that was meant to grow at its own pace. The problem with fear is that it blinds you. It makes you think that if something isn't happening right now, it will never happen. It pushes you into a state of desperation, making you hold on to things that aren't serving you. But faith teaches you patience. Faith reminds you that just because something isn't happening today doesn't mean it won't happen in the future. It gives you the strength to keep going, even when the road ahead isn't clear. This doesn't mean you sit back and do nothing. Faith is not about waiting passively. It's about preparing yourself while trusting the process. If you have a dream, work toward it. If you want love, become the kind of person who attracts it. If you seek success, develop the skills that will allow you to sustain it. But do all of this with faith, not fear. Because when you act from a place of faith, you allow life to unfold naturally, rather than trying to force things that aren't meant for you. Let go of the fear of failure. Let go of the need to control every outcome. Instead, trust that what is meant for you will find you at the right time. When you replace fear with faith, you move with confidence, knowing that everything you desire is already on its way. You just have to be ready to receive it. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that if you don't have everything figured out right now, you're failing. But life doesn't work that way. The right things, the right people, and the right opportunities will come to you at the right time. Not when you force them, but when you're truly ready to receive them. This is why patience is more powerful than panic. When you move through life with patience, you allow things to unfold naturally, without the stress and frustration that comes with trying to control everything. Many people panic when things don't happen as fast as they want them to. They rush into decisions, chase after people who don't value them, or settle for opportunities that don't align with their true potential. Why? Because they're afraid that if they don't act now, they'll miss out. But in reality, panic only leads to poor choices. It clouds your judgment and makes you act from a place of desperation rather than wisdom. Think about how an experienced hunter moves through the forest. They don't rush, they don't make noise, and they don't act impulsively. Instead, they stay still, they observe, and they wait for the right moment to strike. If they panic and act too soon, they'll scare away the very thing they were after. Life works the same way. If you panic and try to force things before they are meant to happen, you'll push away the opportunities that were already coming your way. On the other hand, allows you to operate from a place of confidence and clarity. When you trust the process, you don't waste energy worrying about things you can't control. You focus on what you can control, your preparation, your mindset, and your growth. And when the right moment arrives, you step into it without hesitation because you know you're ready. There is a reason why things take time. A caterpillar doesn't become a butterfly overnight. It has to go through its transformation in the cocoon in complete stillness before it emerges as something greater. If you were to cut open the cocoon too soon, you wouldn't be helping. It would destroy the process entirely. The same goes for your dreams, your relationships, and your success. If you try to rush what needs time to develop, you won't get the results you're hoping for. This is why you have to remind yourself daily, I am exactly where I need to be. Everything that is meant for me is already on its way. I don't need to force it, and I don't need to panic. My only job is to keep working, keep preparing, and trust that when the time is right, I will step into everything that belongs to me. Let go of the need to rush. Let go of the fear that you're running out of time. Life is not a race, it's a journey. And when you learn to move with patience instead of panic, you'll realize that everything you desire is already aligning for you. You just have to trust and be ready. Life is not meant to be forced. It is meant to be lived with faith, patience, and trust in the timing of things. The more you try to control every detail, the more resistance you create. But when you let go, when you focus on growth instead of force, when you prepare instead of panic, you allow life to unfold in the way it was always meant to. What is meant for you will never require desperate chasing. The right opportunities, the right relationships, and the right success will come when you are truly ready. Your job is not to rush the process, but to become the person who is prepared to receive it. Every delay has a purpose. Every closed door is protecting you. Every moment of waiting is shaping you into the version of yourself that can handle what you are asking for. Instead of forcing outcomes, focus on building yourself. Instead of chasing, focus on attracting. Instead of fearing the unknown, trust that what is meant for you is already on its way. So take a deep breath, let go of the pressure, keep working, keep believing, and allow life to meet you where you are. Because when the time is right, everything that is truly meant for you will arrive, not by force, but by alignment. So let go of the need to control everything. Trust the process, do the work, stay the course, and let life unfold as it should. Thank you.